I'm now joined by Michael Shewburg from Five Oaks. Hi, Michael. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Can you tell me a little bit about, for those that don't know, what is Five Oaks?
Five Oaks is a not-for-profit retreat center. We've been here since 1952 and recently became an intercultural interfaith retreat center that focuses on bringing faith traditions together to learn from each other and have experiences of each other. We also offer accommodation and food services to a variety of other groups who come to do the work that they do. So we work with Girl Guides and universities and quilting groups and community groups to do retreats and conference style accommodations. We're owned by the United Church of Canada, and yeah, love doing the work that we do.
And so with the COVID-19 and new restrictions around group gatherings, tell me how that has impacted Five Oaks.
Yeah, so on March 16th, when we received the news that large groups wouldn't be able to gather, it basically ended all opportunities to do the work that we normally do. Our main work is gathering people in groups, so we did lose a lot of bookings right away from that. We were forced to lay off a number of staff and to reduce other staff's hours, and basically prepared for the worst, which would be that we would be closed through the summer. So it was a pretty gut-wrenching, grief-filled time for all of us.
And so part of your goal was to try to get back up and running. And so you made a connection with some local farmers to help them with quarantining and isolating temporary workers. Can you talk about how that has evolved into something for you?
So what happened was we began to think creatively about what can we do to welcome guests here and use this space to help Canadians and Ontarians as we go through this crisis and this struggle. And so we did write through the web-based portals to the Government of Ontario and to the Government of Canada that we are an accommodation and food service business. And we had a first thought that we'd be able to help healthcare workers find isolation. If there's a nurse, for instance, that needed a space, contracted COVID, that they could come here and find rest and healing. And when we reached out to Brant County, the municipal office, they had the idea to start around caring for migrant workers. And so then through Brant County, we connected with a farming family and got right to work right away at rearranging our space within the health parameters of how we could accommodate the first group of 38 Mexican laborers.
And many of our farms rely on these workers every year, and a lot of them return to Canada, and this feeds their family and takes care of their loved ones back home. So certainly an important thing that many people were worried about. So going forward, do you have an idea of how many other people you'll be helping?
We anticipate that we'll have waves of welcome through the spring and into the summer. We've had a number of phone calls with other farms, and the current farm that we're working with does receive migrant workers through the spring and summer. So we continue to work with that farming family. And we're really aware that, we all need potatoes and cabbage and broccoli to eat later this summer and this fall, that what happens on Ontario farms not only feeds people in Ontario, but around North America. And so we feel really proud of this opportunity. And, we really believe that this work will support Ontario families, that, we're contributing to the greater good, that we all need potatoes, cabbage, and broccoli to eat. And, this will really help towards food security for our province and for folks. We believe it's the right thing to do, even though, we're not making what we normally would in the not-for-profit. It has allowed us to bring back some of our staff and to do this really important work. So,
and I've had the pleasure of going to Five Oaks many times. It's a beautiful place. It's very peaceful, and it's just a gorgeous place. So how fortunate for these people to be able to enjoy being on the land. What has the feeling been amongst the migrant workers coming and being able to enjoy staying there?
Yeah, that's a great question. Now, my Spanish is very poor, so I haven't been able to communicate very well. But I've been asking people how they are and are they enjoying the food. Unfortunately, because of the restrictions, they're not able to fully walk the property. So there's outdoor perimeters that are created, which the guests are able to be within, but the restrictions are that we need to keep the group small and segregated, unfortunately. But I think that it's a great opportunity to enjoy nature and to, there's a lot of views of the river, and obviously we're surrounded in the forest. There's lots of wildlife and birds. So I don't know. I think if I had to be in the situation, that to be in a peaceful, calm place for 14 days would be an ideal situation. But I'm sure that they want to get to work and to get going on what they're here for.
And so is there any way that the community can help? Is there any way that people can chip in or do anything to help Five Oaks and our migrant workers that are coming to this area?
Yeah, well, I think there's lots of things that people can do. We do have a small pool of volunteers that are helping to support this work. So if someone was interested, they could reach out to us, but we want to welcome people who can social isolate and have, the proper immune system and are within an age range that the government has said should be able to be out and about. So, that's folks under 65. And there's a lot of things on our property that we normally do this time of year that we're not able to. So if people are interested in raking leaves or things like that, within reason, we're able to welcome a small group of volunteers. We do welcome donations, and on our website, folks can find a way to donate, and that does support the work that we're doing. It allows us to stay open for the current work we're doing and also future work. And then I think the other thing people can do is really think about where they're shopping. It's time to shop local. It's time to support local people. And now more than ever, I think we should be doing that. And we can really see how hard our local people work to grow food for us. And so when we're making choices at the grocery store, let's make them to support, Ontario workers.
That's a great message to leave our viewers with. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I really appreciate this coming together in our community. This is wonderful of Five Oaks and much appreciated. And thanks again for all the good work that you do.